Bob Chapman asked me to tell this quick story by video. It's a recap of an after-dinner presentation that I gave kind of spontaneously at one of their leadership group meetings. Now the story really begins with an unscheduled call from Tom Patterson. He's one of the 3 Madrone Capital partners who are super smart, very disciplined, and great businessmen. We're working on potentially life-saving businesses, and most of my calls with Tom are scheduled, so when we have a pop-up call, it really is out of the ordinary. When he called one day and he said, "You absolutely have to talk to Bob Chapman today," I listened, and boy was I glad I did. So for the quick story, every story has heroes, victims, villains, a crisis, and a resolution. So I shared with the group how we're looking for heroes to defeat our villains, and then talked about what a postcard of the future might look like, what it might look like if we work together and we look back from 3 years hence. I used the metaphor of an elephant, rider, and path. I told how I had used the same metaphor a week before with 1,000 CEOs at a Medicare meeting to help people understand transformational change and how we leverage the head and the heart together to put the hands to work. How the currencies of the head are facts, figures, numbers, the rational mind, which is the rider, but the heart is the elephant, emotion, fear, dread, guilt, joy, hope, love. That's what moves us. That's what gets things done. And the path is the way we work. If we can connect the head and the heart to move down the right path, we do have transformation. I told them how people train baby elephants with a chain to an immovable object so that when they're older they never stray, believing that the chain somehow has power over them, keeping them from moving for the rest of their lives, even when they have the power to do so. It captures a quote that Warren Buffett gave me in 2003 when I was giving a national keynote. "The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to break." So back to our villains. Our healthcare villains are not bad people, they're bad systems. Leadership systems, practice systems, and technology systems. We're treating sicker and sicker patients faster and faster, and our systems just can't keep up. Unreliable care systems are robbing the very lifeblood of our families and our nation's companies. In the last few years, we came to the conclusion that Dennis Quaid articulates in our Discovery documentary.
A real sweet spot or safety envelope for high-performance care is the intersection of 3 systems: leadership, safe practices, and technology. When these support systems are functioning within the right organizational culture, we get great care and we get safe care.
We realized that we had to go out of our industry to find the best of the best, and that was why I was there with them, with Barry-Wehmiller. You see, in the calls and meetings that we've had with Bob Chapman and his teams, followed by joint work sessions, and our attendance of leadership courses, and our site visits with employees at plants, we found something very special. A method and people that can be some of the heroes we need to heal our hospitals. You see, their systematic approach at bringing true fulfillment to their employees through the guiding principles of leadership and lean enterprise is exactly what we need in U.S. hospitals and healthcare. They have synchronized the head and the heart and moved the hands to action. They've informed the rider, they've motivated the elephant, and they've created a path to transformation. And they tell it better than I can.
It stems from a really simple statement that we measure success by the way we touch the lives of people. And so for us, that means our team members, obviously, and their families, the ripple effect that the way we treat them, affects the people around them, but it's our suppliers, our customers, the communities that we're part of. So really, any decision that you have to take in business, and I think a lot of business leaders in our world today could learn from this, if you can ask yourself that simple question is, how does this touch the lives of people that'll be affected, makes an easy decision.
Most surprising, the emotional connection for people. That most people are really searching for this, and we jokingly say that a class isn't successful unless we get man tears. And so to get people to that emotional level where they're actually tearing up thinking about and telling us things like, my relationship with my daughter is changed. I'm going to go home and treat my wife differently. That's surprising when you're talking about a manufacturing company.
What I found with this extraordinary team of BW leaders, the leaders of BW University, was a passion for excellence and a systematic design for success. I believe it's absolutely translatable to healthcare.
What has happened in my life, people ask me how am I doing today, and I will tell you honestly, my answer to them is I'm living the dream. When I came to Barry-Wehmiller, I had absolutely no idea that we had guiding principles of leadership. We had our L3s and our covenants here, and each and every time I come here, it's a wonderful experience coming to work every day. I honestly do not even consider it a job. I travel quite extensively for my work position here, and each day, I can tell you this, at the end of the day, I am truly blessed to be part of this organization. It's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience.
You know, faith is the belief in the substance of things not yet seen. And we had faith that we could find heroes and solutions to help us resolve our crisis in healthcare. You know, our caregivers are just dying to have a systematic approach to put the care back into healthcare and the trust back into the public trust. When I concluded my keynote to the 1,000 CEOs in Washington, I asked them to write down what they would put on a postcard from the future in 3 years if their chains were broken and their elephant were released. Their responses were just amazing. They truly had a great vision in mind. So when I concluded my 15-minute talk, I did the same thing with the Barry-Wehmiller group. I did so with the vision of what a postcard from the future might look like if we bring our channels together with the BW model. Imagine a time 3 years from now when doctors and nurses and BW teams are in a room together and they're sharing stories about how their joint work saved lives across the nation. Imagine a wall with pictures of moms and dads and kids and stories about the lives that have been saved. And imagine teams talking about how heads and hearts were brought together to move the hands to action to heal our nation's healthcare system. Imagine recognition and celebration events like those run by Bob and his teams, giving caregivers a chance to get in touch with their own fulfillment, becoming better husbands, wives, moms, and dads. I know that this is possible. The 30 deaths an hour in our U.S. hospitals, the 100,000 deaths from infections we give patients, the many caregivers that are suffering after they harm people who trust them, they're not statistics. They're husbands, wives, moms, dads, and kids. You know, I thank God for Bob's vision and the terrific teams that he's built that support him. To those that have been given much, much is expected. Our nation needs us now.